Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Chris Martin. If you want more listings in your real estate business, I'm going to teach you how through door knocking. You ready? Let's go. Let's go. All right, everybody wants listings in this business. That's the most valuable piece of business you can have in the market as a real estate agent, to be a listing-based agent. That means you have the listing, you have the inventory, and everybody is coming to you. You have the customers coming to you. You become the store, you become the retailer, and that's what you want. You want to have a listing-based business. You want to have the inventory that's in high demand, right? So there's more buyers than sellers out there. So naturally, if you have a piece of real estate that you are looking to sell, it's like an uncashed check in your pocket that's just waiting to be brought to the bank. So it's hard to get these listings, and one way of getting them is through door knocking. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So there's multiple ways of getting business in real estate. Door knocking is a way to go right to the source, to go right to homeowners and asking them, are they interested in selling? So we're going to talk about that. The first question is, why would you even door knocking? Why would you go to some stranger's house and door knock and ask them for business? You know, coming into the business, when I heard of door knocking and cold calling and all these ways of lead generating, I thought, wow, that's a sign of desperation right there. Whoever's door knocking, these people, these agents are probably making the least amount of money if they're out there knocking on doors. It was actually the opposite. It was the people that were door knocking, the people that were cold calling. These were some of the highest producing real estate agents in the business. So once I found that out, I was like, okay, that's let me follow that path. Let me follow that roadmap. So I did incorporate door knocking into my business. A huge part of my business when growing my business to 20, 30 plus homes sold a year was basically through calling and on the phones. That was the chunk of it. But I incorporated this door knocking into my business, and I made a good amount of money doing it. So that's the philosophy, is like, you have to have that mindset of knowing that this is how you would get listings, how you become a listing-based agent, or at least a way you can do it. So going out door knocking. So why would you go out door knocking? Well, you have to understand that this is a way to get listings, right? I'm going to keep repeating this throughout this video. You need listings as an agent. You need to have the inventory. You can't just have all buyers and working with buyers and you're going out showing 10 buyers all different types of properties. They need to look at 20 properties before they submit an offer that they're comfortable with. And then when they submit an offer, their offer doesn't even get accepted because there's 15 other offers on the table. So you can actually be a lot more efficient with your time when working with listings and not have to be out there showing 100 gazillion properties to different buyers that may not even end up buying and may not even get their offer accepted. So have the listings, and this is a way of doing it. So another reason why you want to do door knocking, or why you want to incorporate that, is you have lofty goals. What are your goals? And everybody has different goals. If you're looking to sell 1 or 2 homes a year, you probably don't need to incorporate this into your lead generation strategy. But if you're looking to sell 10, 20, 30, 40 homes a year, then you need to get out there. You need to talk to as many homeowners as possible. This is a way of doing it. So if you have lofty goals, and everyone's goals are different, there's no judgment there. We're talking about if you're looking to buy a vacation home, if you're looking to buy an investment property, if you're looking to get a pool in the backyard or do these things, you're going to need money to do it. You're going to need commission checks to do it. You're going to need listings to do it. So I like to look at everyone who owns a home, or any potential client, as a way for me to accomplish my goals, right? It's a means to fund your lifestyle that you want to live, or the goals that you want to accomplish. And sometimes that means making money in real estate. So you have to look at these opportunities as not just clients, but people that are going to pay into your goals for the year. So this homeowner that I'm knocking on, this could be a person that contributes to me going to Disney, me going here, me going there. So that's how I looked at every piece of business. The commission was basically, I'm not going to be paying for my goals, that my potential clients are going to be paying for that, respectfully, right? So look at it from that standpoint. So when do you go out door knocking? You want to go out door knocking whenever that time is for you. I've door knocked at all different times and hours of the day, after work and the weekends. I pretty much get the same numbers on door knocking. So I don't think that you're going to get more or less depending on the time you knock. And you have to remember that not everyone works a 9 to 5 schedule, all right? Not everyone works Monday through Friday. Not everyone actually works. Some people are retired. Some people work day shifts. Some people work night shift. Some people are retired, as I mentioned. Some people work from home. So in today's day and age, there's actually more people working from home. So you have a better chance at getting people at their house, regardless of the time that you're knocking. So for me, I wanted to knock after 1 o'clock, or right around that, right after lunch, I should say, that 1, 2, 3 o'clock time frame. And I just incorporated that into my schedule. If I didn't have any appointments, those were my appointment time slots, 1, 2, and 3. If I didn't have appointments during those time slots, then it was an opportunity for me to either do more prospecting over the phone or to get out there and door knock. So that's what I did. I liked looking at different opportunities, whether it's a dumpster in someone's yard or a pod outside, a storage container. When people have these things in front of their house, it usually means that they're doing something, some sort of construction, remodeling, some real estate related activity, right? Maybe they're moving, but it's a good way to have a conversation with someone. So what type of conversation are you having with people when you're showing up at their door? To me, you can always have the conversation. When all else fails, you don't know what to say, the inventory conversation is the one that you can have with every single person you talk to. And it's the truth. There's a lack of inventory here out in the market. So knock, knock, Mr. Seller. I just want to let you know I'm a real estate agent in the area. I'm just trying to talk to as many homeowners as possible because there's a lack of inventory. There's more buyers out here than sellers. In fact, the last couple of properties that I've been involved in, there's been so many offers on the table. My buyers missed out. I'm looking for some more inventory. Do you know anyone in the neighborhood that's thinking about selling? I'd like to divert the ask away from them to see if they know anyone in the area that's thinking about selling, if they know anyone in the neighborhood. You'll get people to engage with that. And I always circle back to them. What about yourself? When have you thought about moving? Have you thought about anywhere that you would go if you did move? Some people don't have the immediate plan to move, but if you can kind of place them in that scenario, that's what you want to do. So if you did move, where would you go? And just kind of like paint that picture for a little bit. It doesn't have to be, not everyone wants to sell within, a week or two or a year, but you're out there also looking for nurturers, people to add to your database. The conversations that you do have that are good conversations, you can take those people, put them in your database, and once they're in your database, you work your database. So they're getting marketed to a certain amount of times a year, and eventually when they are ready to sell, hopefully they'll come back to life and they'll remember you from your initial introduction, and they'll remember you from your continuous marketing. So not everything is a listing right out of the gate, but we're looking for those decent conversations to take them and put them into our database. So take them and put them in that place of thinking about if they were to move, where would they go? Have that conversation with them. Ask them for their information. So here's something you have to remember. You have to be able to ask for their information, their cell phone number, their email address, preferably both. Hey, I enjoyed our conversation. Here's my information. My cell phone's on there, my email. If you have any questions, reach out. Anything real estate related, reach out. What's the best number for you? Is it okay for me to reach out to you a couple times a year? Let them know what you're looking to do. Is it okay for me to email you a few times a year with some real estate information? Anytime I sell a property, I can let you know what it's sold for. I like to add as many people on that as possible. A big part of my business is working with people I meet, like yourself. Be honest with them. Let them know what you're looking to accomplish, rather than, hey, can I have your email address? Can I have your cell phone number? People are not likely to give you that if they don't know what you're going to do with it. But if you have a decent conversation with someone and then you ask them and they know your intent, that is something that they're more likely to do. And then you actually leave with something. If you can take 2 or 3 people that you can get from door knocking and add them into your database, those are going to become future deals. So that's what you want. Someone to list, obviously, definitely, but then those nurtures, those continued follow-ups that you'll have that will eventually lead to listings. How many doors do you knock when you actually go door knocking? Here's a question that I get asked a lot, and I always laugh when people are like, I went out and I door knocked. It's like, how many doors you knock? Well, Chris, I knocked maybe like 3 or 4 doors. That's not gonna do it. You're not gonna get any traction, or at least not traction that you need if you have lofty goals, if you have these big goals. You need to do this for volume. You need to do this to where you can actually get out there and talk to as many people as possible. Real estate's simple. talk to as many people as possible that you can in a day, right? So if you're door knocking, you have to go for volume. Go in an area where you don't want to go in a rural area where everyone has a barn and horses. You got to walk a mile down the driveway to get to someone's door. Doesn't really make sense. To me, I like working more of an urban setting where I can go from house to house to house and bang out 50 houses. And by the way, I think that's the magic number, 50 houses in a day. And that should only take you an hour and a half to do because you're going from house to house to house. So I would look at your route and make everything kind of condensed to where you can hit those houses in an hour and a half, bang it out, get 50 doors, and from those 50 doors, you should be able to get somewhere around 10 contacts. So those are the numbers, regardless of the day, you should be able to get 10 contacts if you hit 50 doors. So I'll tell you a funny story. I went to a conference, a real estate conference, and I was already door knocking, but I met someone who was door knocking, and that's what they did. Like, I did door knocking, but that's what they did. So I was talking to him, and he was like, hey, look, he's like, I never knock less than 50 doors. Me and my team, we go out, we knock at least 50 doors. So went to the conference, soaked in as much information as I could, came back, and this is the truth. I knocked 50 doors that day, and I probably knocked 50 doors before, but this time I really made sure I wasn't stopping until I hit 50 doors. So knocked 50 doors. On the 50th door, the lady answered, and I got a bunch of answers before that, but the 50th door, she said, I was just talking about selling, and here you are. And that's what I call it a K&L, a knock-in list. So you can credit me for that term, a K&L. So it was a K&L, a knock-in list. I knocked, and she was ready to list. So whatever that translated, whether it was 10, 15 grand in commission, it was worth that 50 doors, that hour and a half that I put into that time. So definitely have a number, a target that you're looking to hit when you're knocking doors. I wouldn't go knocking a couple of doors. If you have a target house where you're going to go for a specific property, knock that property, but go ahead and knock the whole street while you're there. So just to end it real quick on approaches, when you're approaching someone and you're talking, there's a couple different approaches. We talked about the lack of inventory where you can have that conversation with everyone. You can have the active buyer conversation where you actually have an active buyer looking in that area. So you have to have it. Don't go lying out there. But if you actually have a buyer that maybe missed out on a property, maybe you go door knocking with that purpose. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, owner, I have a buyer in your neighborhood that missed out on a property. They're really looking to get in this neighborhood. I'd love an opportunity to show them your property if you're interested in selling, and having that conversation with someone. So you have the active buyer conversation that you can have with someone, and what a value you can provide to your buyer clients on that service, right? So you can provide that extra service that separates you from other buyer agents. You actually go out there in the trenches and look for property for your clients. So that's something you can have a conversation with when you're working with your buyer clients on what you do, if you do it. If you don't do it, don't say you do it. So if you do it, it's an awesome value that you can add. Another way that you can have the conversation is basically you being the buyer. So one of the mindset shifts that I had was, well, if I'm out here door knocking, why don't I door knock for inventory that I personally want to buy? So going out there and targeting homes or areas that you want to buy in as an investor. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner, I'm a real estate agent, but I'm actually looking for property for myself. This is something that I'd love an opportunity to talk to you about and maybe present an offer to you if you're open to it. And having that conversation directly with the homeowner, and getting an off-market property is super valuable because it's not on market. If you wanted to throw it back on the market afterwards, there's just no property history. There's a bunch of good things that come along with that, being off market. So you can start to shift your approach depending on where you are in the business. Maybe you are specifically looking for investment property, go out there and look for yourself. You want a triple decker, target all the triple deckers. You want a duplex, knock those properties and see if you can get someone in person that you can have a discussion with them about maybe buying that property yourself. And I can tell you the dialogue's different. There's a certain respect level that people have when you're approaching them, asking them if they're interested in you buying their house. So I would definitely start to think about those type of approaches to get in the trenches, especially if you're looking for property for yourself, if you're looking for property for your clients, or if you're just looking for listing. It almost never fails where if I knock 50 doors, there's going to be at least one person that invites me in. I just did a kitchen and, take a look at it. What's my house worth? Or, they're excited about showing off something to you. So just use common sense when you're doing those sort of things. You don't want to go in someone's house if they're super creepy and like, hey, let me show you my basement. I got something down there. And, you obviously don't want to just go into anyone's house, but if you have a decent conversation and you feel there's some trust there, and I've gone into many people's houses and provided them some value there and continue the conversation. So just use some common sense there. Be aware of your surroundings, and if you feel any type of hesitation, it's probably best that you don't do it. So just be cautious about that. Listen, real estate, it's all about multiple streams of income, right? And it's also about multiple streams of prospecting. When you're prospecting, you should be able to break down where your leads are coming from. Where are your leads coming from? Are they coming from your sphere, your SOI? Are they coming from your all referrals? Are they coming from wherever they're coming from? Buyer leads, online buyer leads. Are they coming from door knocking? Are they coming from cold calls? Are they coming from blah blah blah, open houses? Well, you should be able to kind of almost develop this pie chart to see what percentages where your leads are coming from, and you should be able to have a dominant sort of area where most of your leads are coming from, but there most likely is going to be a secondary and sometimes even a third source of where your leads are coming from. Start to pay attention to those things. If you find an area that you're not providing that much time in, but you're getting a bunch of leads in, then you may want to spend more time in that category, right? You may want to double down on that category versus you spending a whole lot of time in the category and you're not getting much return on it. Then you might want to lessen the attention or the time spent in that category. So get out there, start to look at different ways that you can generate leads in this business. This is a marathon. No matter what lead generation strategy you choose, you're not going to get success overnight. This is the long haul. This is not about knocking 3 or 4 doors. It's not about knocking 50 doors. This is about knocking hundreds of doors, and over time and over volume, getting nurtures and leads that turn into listings, with eventually getting someone that you get a K&L, a knock and list on. Getting all types of leads come from time and consistency. So know whatever lead generation strategy you choose, just give it a long stretch of time, give it some time, give it some consistency, and give it some effort. Know that going in, that I'm going to do this, and experience some rejection, especially in higher this is what I would call a aggressive means of prospecting. With more aggressive means of prospecting, you're going to have a more immediate client or immediate sale or potential business. So more aggressive means of prospecting usually equal more immediate business. Less aggressive tactics in real estate usually mean longer business. So if you want immediate business, this may be a way to incorporate this into your lead generation. So if you guys like this, definitely give it a thumbs up. Hit the little notification bell so you guys can get future videos on lead generation, real estate in general, and everything else I have going on. So I will catch you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.